Good afternoon. It's a Friday, and we've got some sunshine here in Minnesota, which is rare. We have had a long winter. Still pretty cool outside. Hey, I want to bring you to the inside of one of these things as it's being built, and I'm back on kind of a roll. I started over here working this glass into the lead. I foiled everything, so I just noticed. I'm glad I stopped here. These have not been foiled, so I'll come back and get those here pretty quick. Definitely don't want to forget that. Anyway, I've been moving pretty fast now. I've kind of gotten an idea what it takes to get around this lid, how to move it back and forth, how to situate the pieces so that they fit the way that I'm looking for. And if you back off now, you don't really have an appreciation for this thing when it's laying on a table like this, because you don't see all of the parts working together. But and I've got some beautiful greens here, but you can start to see now that this thing is going to be just a spectacle when the bulbs are lit and it's hanging. It's really starting to look nice. And so I wanted to show you what I've done this part here and foiled all the glass up into the lid. There's a few pieces that have been left out, and this is not exactly rock solid where they're going to be. And let me get my little pick here. As I get ready to start soldering this thing, I'll look, well, let's get this camera where you can see it. I'll get maybe a better area right there. I'll look at this area and see how all of those pieces work with each other, and then how far out they are from the edge of this branch. I'm trying to keep that to a minimum. Put those together. How does it look? Do I need to move anything? Before I hit them with a soldering iron. Here's a spot right here I want to kind of move. Anyway, so those are foiled and more or less ready to go. If you come over here, I've started speeding the process up now, and I'm putting the glass onto the mold, onto the tacky, sticky wax right there. And I'm going right off the light box, and I've been able to move the light box over this direction. We'll put this one on if we can find where that goes. I think you can see me. And that's going to go right there. And here's where we're at. I've said this before, but I spent so much time trying to get these pieces cut exactly, or as close as I could get them to the pattern, that now we're back in an area where that's starting to pay off again. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to have to work on some of this, but what it means to me is that for the most part, I can take the pieces off of this light table and set them on the form, and they're pretty close. Now, they're not exactly where I want them to be, but they're pretty close. And I'd show you now, we would more likely than not start up here in this lead, because I've got some areas to try to cover up in the lead, and I want to get the distances between the pieces somewhat similar. So there'll be a little bit of touching up and grinding here and there, and you'll make that decision as you start here and move on down. That's going to be your reference. So you're looking for the spaces and everything to fit more or less symmetrically down to there. Then we get down into here, and if we had already done this part up here and I had come down here, then I would start looking at maybe that's a little tight right there. We're a little bit close right there, and we're in close right here. So you would be coming from the top down this direction. So if that's too close there, can this piece move further up into this one? Now, if that had already been set, then I'd say yes, and I'd put this under there and push that up just slightly. And this doesn't look too bad here. So the relationship between this one, here, a little bit tight. So this one would need a little bit of work. But anyway, that's how this is done. We come down here. This doesn't look, well, we need take a little off there, a little bit there, move this around. Here's one here that's got a little more open space than what we're looking for. So what if we pull that down right there? So that same old thing I've been doing all over the whole thing, except I'm up in these branches now. So I'm every time I'm in an area here, I think, well, they don't need to see that. Well, this is certainly the nitty-gritty part of this thing. And I'm happy. I haven't touched any of those with a grinder. In fact, I've ground probably out of all of these that we're looking here right now. Now, there's some that definitely need the grinder, but out of all of these here, I think only 3 or 4 pieces. So that makes me feel good. Anyway, this one here is a little bit out of shape there. See, it doesn't exactly fit that curvature there, so you need to fix this. Now, it might be no more than moving it a little bit in respect to another one, but we can't do that yet because we haven't come from the top on down. So anyway, that's how this works. I'm not going to take much of your time. I'm getting this closer to me. It makes it a lot easier. And my new chair, I'm substituting this. Man, I've sat on that wooden stool. Boy, that looks comfortable, doesn't it? How would you like to sit on that thing for 8 weeks in front of this? So it's not comfortable. So I ordered a chair, a special chair with wheels on it and all that stuff. And it's supposed to be exactly what I need for this kind of work. It's supposed to be in this afternoon. So I'm going to test drive that thing. And it'll probably make this a lot more comfortable. I'm not really bothered by it, but if something would make it better, then I'm all for it. Anyway, that's where I'm at. If you have any more questions, be sure and ask me. There's no, just ask, people are, I understand from different people that talk to me, that some people are reluctant to ask questions or whatever because it's going to be a dumb question or a stupid question. Well, I'm sometimes reluctant to ask people that are in this trade that I'm in questions because I think they're dumb or stupid. I've got a couple of questions I wouldn't mind asking on this thing. But anyway, I'll figure it out. I've been doing this a long time. But if you're new into this or want to get into it or you just want to understand how one of these is built, well, welcome aboard, and I'll answer all the questions that I can possibly answer. It's fascinating to me, and I've been doing it a long time. But what the real payoff on this thing is just starting now because I put a lot of effort and work into getting it to this point, and now I'm starting to see it as a lamp. And particularly since we got working on this glass here on the side, I did not forget I need to. Oh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 that I've just skipped somehow in there. And after this thing comes off the form, and I'll show you that, I got to come back in and put a few of these oddball pieces like that in the slot. But I'm not going to, man, I can't get that in there without lifting this up. And I certainly don't want to do that. So anyway, I appreciate all the interest. Thank you. Bye.